Hey, party people, let's talk about networking. Everyone's favorite thing. Okay, like nobody's favorite thing. A lot of us creatives, we like to be left alone to do our work and not have to deal with things like networking, but in reality, we all have to do it. It's a fact of life and working in fashion, okay? And in this video, I'm going to talk about networking in person and online. And you know me, I am going to give you the truth. And sometimes you won't like it, but that's what you come here for, right? To get the real talk, right? So first, I'm going to give you my top 5 tips on networking. And then after that, I'm going to talk about the top 3 issues people have with networking and how to solve them. Okay, tip number 1, manage your expectations and think long game. Networking is about meeting and connecting with people in your industry and also related industries for the good of your whole career. You are not going to stroll into a party and walk out with a job, okay? The chances of that happening are like real small, like real small, super teeny tiny. You're gonna meet people, have conversations. Remember that you have at least one thing in common. You both are into fashion and are into working in fashion, right? And hopefully you're gonna find people to click with and exchange business cards with, and maybe when the moment is right, they'll remember you for something. I have friends that I recommend for jobs, but a lot of those recommendations, like I didn't start recommending my friends right off the bat. I got to know them. I got to know their professional ethics and work ethic and their attitudes before I felt good about, people being like, do you know a tech designer? I'm like, yeah, I do. She's real good, And so it's not going to come immediately. People are going to want to get to know you and really see what you're made of before they start recommending you for stuff, because their reputation is on the line too. So think long game. Tip number 2, give before you take. I know so many of you are hungry, okay? And you want more knowledge, you want to know what the hell to do, and so you find someone online and you latch onto them and just want to ask them 100 questions because you're hungry and you're confused. And I get it, I have been there, I understand, but that is not a good way to start a professional relationship with someone. These relationships require give and take, just like any other kind of relationship. And you might be thinking, Zoe, I barely finished school, or I haven't even been to school. What can I offer someone? Let's say you're at a fashion event or party or trade show or conference or whatever, and you meet someone and you exchange business cards and you decide to follow up the next day. And this is not like dating. You do not wait a long ass time for them to miss you, okay? You follow up the next day instead of launching into 20 million questions. Unless that is something you guys decided that was okay. Like the person, you're like, I have a million questions for you, and the person said to you, sure, send me an email with all your questions. Unless they said that, do not launch into 20 questions with them, but send them a friendly email. Hi, it was awesome meeting you. I learned so much from just our little chit chat. And then I was thinking about you when I listened to this podcast episode, or, here's that thing I told you in person that I wanted to share with you, things like that. So it's like a give and take. And my students, they alert me to stuff all the time. Like somebody just sent me an email all about waterless dyeing, fabric dyeing. And I haven't had a chance to read thoroughly. I just kind of glanced over it. But yeah, people show me new stuff all the time, and I love that. That is a great conversation starter. When you send these emails to people, make sure that the link to your online portfolio and your social media is in your email signature so they can easily find you and check you out. Go into it with a give and take mindset and let that relationship grow organically. Tip number 3, don't be fake and don't talk smack. Don't sell your soul for your career. Don't kiss someone's butt if they're terrible. Okay? Be yourself. Be your professional self, but be yourself. And don't talk smack. Yes, you should give honest opinions, but be professional and diplomatic, especially if you're giving your opinions online. The internet is forever. There's really no such as deleting anything. Your words will follow you. If you watch my product and book review videos, I think you can basically tell when I don't like something, but I try very hard not to just flat out diss it, but just give an honest critique and to be as professional and diplomatic as possible. Keep it clean. Tip number 4, talk to everyone. Everyone thinks that you have to talk to the creative director, the editor-in-chief, the CEO in order to get ahead, but that is not necessarily true. Those people, they are so busy talking to 100 million people, being approached by 300 million people all the time. It's gonna be harder for them to remember you. But remember, assistants to those people are the true gatekeepers. Also, I've been introduced to awesome gigs from former classmates. 10 years after we graduated college, a friend will post on Facebook, "Yo, Snatches, I'm looking for an illustrator." Yeah, I'd be like, "Girl, gimme." Fun fact, you wanna know how I got my university teaching job? I was organizing this fashion design runway showcase for up-and-coming talent, and one of the showcasing designers was this guy, 10 years my junior. He was still in school, and we sat down and had a long conversation about his clothes, and he's the one, after that conversation, was like, "I really think you should be a teacher," and he's the one who set me up with that first meeting with the department chair. Be kind and professional to everybody. Tip number 5, accept rejection with grace and learn to move on. No matter what industry you're in, you will hear no over and over again. Worse yet, you will hear the ringing, echoing devastation of silence. Sometimes the no is not yet, try again. Sometimes that no is you need to put in more work, come back when you have more experience. Accept the rejection with grace. Ask for feedback when it's appropriate. Do your best to move on. Let them know that you are open to future opportunities, future chances to apply again. Keep that channel of communication open for the future. Now let's talk about some problems and solutions. Problem number 1, I suck at talking to people. Don't hate me, but you might have figured out already what I'm about to say here. Talking to strangers requires practice just like anything else. I know. The beauty of video is you can't throw tomatoes at me. But I do mean it, okay? It does get easier the more you force yourself to do it. And personally, I find that once someone breaks the ice and approaches me, I find it easier to talk to them. I tend to be grateful towards the person who breaks the ice. So you know what? You should be the one to break the ice, because more often than not, people are like that. People are like, "Oh, you came over to say hi, you did the brave thing, let's chat." Provided you're not a creep and provided they're not a jerk, go ahead and approach people. You're already probably at an event where you both love fashion, so just start there. My favorite solution to this problem is to go with a friend, like a professional wingman. And they don't even necessarily need to work in fashion, although that helps. You can take turns being professional wingmen at each other's events if they don't also work in fashion. Go with your most extroverted friend if you're more introverted. I am not so good at talking about myself. Okay, when I talk about myself, I usually kind of like pass it off as a joke and I laugh at the end because I feel awkward, you know, saying that I'm so awesome about something. But I am so good at talking about my friend and how awesome they are and how good they are at this thing and how good they are at that thing. I could do that for an hour. So, and I think a lot of us are like this. And so go with a friend, you know, go to events together, approach people together, you know, break that ice first. And then you can separate, you can run around, regroup when you need a friendly face, you know. Problem number 2, Zoe, I don't know where to go. Option number 1, go to school. I've gotten a bunch of jobs, freelance and otherwise, from teachers and classmates. These people, they already know your skill level. They already know your work ethic. They know your personality from spending all that time together. There you go. Option number 2, take a class anywhere. Okay? Take a drawing class at your local art center or community college. Take a sewing class at a fabric store. Lots of fabric stores teach pattern making and draping and sewing classes as part of their business. So go to those classes and make friends with your classmates and your teachers. There are a lot of schools, like colleges and universities, that have like a continuing education program or like a, what do they call them? Extension classes. And they're taught at the college or university, like usually in the evening. And they're cheaper because they don't go to a degree, but they're often taught by the same teachers as the day degree classes. So that can be a good option for you too. Number 3, volunteer at events. You're working backstage as a dresser at fashion shows is like practically a fashion newbie rite of passage. Okay? And they're fun. A lot of you already know that I'm very anti unpaid internships and unpaid work in general. Why? Because we all have bills to pay, and why should fashion be only for the people who have rich parents who will pay the rent? An evening here and there to volunteer at a fashion function, what you get out of it is worth a couple of hours of volunteering. Like that kind of stuff does not prevent you from paying rent, okay? And they're really fun. And a lot of the time, the shows, they'll like give you free drink tickets for the after party, stuff like that. So, and yeah, I have like a lot of fun memories from working backstage at shows, that sort of thing. Option number 4, host an event. You can organize your own thing. You can use a website like meetup.com. And, you know, people go to websites like that looking for specific group activities. And so you can set up an account on meetup.com. This is not sponsored, by the way, but it's just one of the options out there where you can create an event and invite people. So when people, like let's say you're in St. Louis and you want to start a sewing circle in St. Louis, and the people in St. Louis, when they're like looking, they'll find your event, they'll find your profile, and you can meet new people that way. You can host like a craft night. You can host, you know, maybe you hire a live drawing model and you guys host a drawing night or just a cocktails thing. Option number 5, get your butt on social media. Speaking of which, that's problem number 3. Problem number 3, I don't know what I'm doing on social media. So the tips I'm about to give you are not about growing your social media presence. Lots of people are talking about that already, so just go and Google that. I want to talk about building relationships using social media. Totally different thing. Okay. First, what you want to do is set up an account with a completely not embarrassing username that you won't be ashamed of in a few years. Okay. Follow a wide variety of people. So you want everyone from like big news outlets and online magazines like the Fashion Law Blog, Refinery 29, Business of Fashion. I'm not going to link to every single thing under the sun. If you really want to know, you know, go find people that you admire. Maybe that's me, maybe that's other people. See who they're following and see if that's of any interest to you. But you do need to keep up on fashion news in general, so go ahead and follow those people on Insta, on Twitter, what have you. And then follow some fun fashion accounts like Diet Prada. Diet Prada is snarky and hilarious and actually full of fashion news and commentary. You know what? Follow designers and illustrators who have like 3 followers. But you think their stuff is cool. Don't worry so much about how many followers they have, if you think their stuff is cool, listen, the chances of you striking up conversation with someone with 100 followers is much higher than getting Diet Prada to pay attention to your comment, okay? All the tips that I gave you before about networking applies to online social media engagement as well. Okay? Make friends. Don't slide into their DMs and ask them 20 million questions, ask them for stuff, ask them to look at your work, critique your work, ask them a million questions. Make friends. Start true conversations. Here's the most annoying thing that I see everywhere on Instagram. Okay, this comment. Nice pic. Look at my profile too. I never check those. Okay. Because that kind of comment says to me, I'm just trying to get your attention. I don't really care about what you just posted. What you want is to engage and build relationships and leave comments that are thoughtful. For example, you can leave a very specific kind of compliment that shows that you actually looked at the picture. Like, I love the colors that you used in this. I think your rendering style is beautiful, but your hair rendering is especially amazing. You know, you could also say something funny, you know, kind of as you're getting to know people, you can like kind of test their senses of humor and throw down a little bit of a joke. Ask them a thoughtful question that isn't already answered in their captions. Don't forget to read their captions. Make sure it's not something that you can Google easily. Okay, so thoughtful questions, thoughtful compliments. When people leave me comments like that, I am 100 times more likely to check out their profile than nice pic, check out my profile too. Another option is to, I say options, but when I say option, I mean you should do all these things. Okay, so another thing you can do is join Facebook, join some Facebook groups. There's a lot of Facebook groups that are fashion centric. Some of them are like focused on specific geographical locations. Some of them are online only. And look, lurking, you know, just reading but never commenting on anything, that doesn't count as networking. Okay, you have to actually engage in conversation. You could start by joining my Facebook group. The link is in the description box. And, you know, join my Facebook group, start talking to people, and then Facebook will automatically start suggesting related groups, and so you can find more fashion groups that way. Twitter is a dumpster fire of verbal diarrhea, but it does have its uses. You know, like stuff, retweet stuff, reply with thoughtful responses, respond to other people in the comments thread, and get to know people. Make sure, of course, that you are posting regularly to your own accounts so that when people do check out your profiles to try to follow you, check out what you're all about, they can see, oh, this person makes cool stuff, they're working on this, they're working on that, oh, they're hella funny, look at this thing they shared. So post your work, post work in progress shots. Okay, those are also really popular. Post links to articles about issues that are important to you. Share images of beautiful things that other people are working on. Make sure to credit them. Use your Instagram stories to shout out other Instagram profiles of people who are making cool things. Okay, yeah, there's a lot of things you can do. Again, it's like about that giving. It's like sharing and showing other people work and, you know, all that good stuff, right? And then LinkedIn. LinkedIn is the most professional. What I find useful on LinkedIn is you can follow all kinds of fashion companies and see what they are up to. And some of them post job listings. Okay, that's it for today. Hopefully I gave you enough information to get you going. Please give this video a thumbs up if you learned something new today. And please do keep these words in mind. Networking is hard because it's hard and not because there's anything wrong with you. People who have been in the industry for a long time still struggle with networking. You know, they might be a brilliant designer, a brilliant illustrator, and a terrible networking. It is a difficult thing, but isn't it worth making the effort to pursue your dream career? Every time I get annoyed with networking, I try to like fix my mindset in this way. Share, subscribe. I wish you all the luck in the world, and I'll see you in the next video.